In 1973, actor Anthony Hopkins was preparing for the role in his next movie, The Girl from Petrovka, which was a cinematic adaptation of a novel by George Pfeiffer. To delve deeply into the story, Hopkins wanted to read the original book before tackling his role. He began an unsuccessful search through the bookstores of London for a copy, which took him an entire day. However, he was told the same thing in all the stores. The book was out of print, and no copies were available. After this failure, he took the subway back home. There, he observed how someone hurriedly exited the carriage upon reaching their stop, unaware that they had left an object behind on the seat. That object was a book. When the Oscar-winning English actor approached to pick it up and read the title, he was astonished to find that it was The Girl from Petrovka. This anecdote would already be quite surprising if it weren't for the fact that months later, after the movie was released, Hopkins had the opportunity to meet the author of the novel in person and told him the story of how he had managed to get hold of a copy. The author was perplexed and told him that he believed that particular copy was his. He had lent it to a friend a few months ago, and the friend had lost it on the subway. What were the chances of that event happening in that specific way? Events like the one described above happen daily, some truly fascinating, and I'm sure you've also experienced some strange coincidences in your life. Maybe you thought of someone, and that person called you right after. Perhaps you were thinking of taking a trip to a particular destination and found a guide to that place, or an acquaintance spontaneously mentioned that destination to you. Maybe you had a significant dream that later came true. What's going on here? Are these events mere coincidences or happenstances, or is something bigger and deeper happening? Often, these extraordinary coincidences are laden with meaning for those who experience them, creating a profound and sometimes mystical sensation, as if the universe is trying to convey a message to us personally. Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung defined them as synchronicities and made the following statements. What I found when investigating this phenomenon thoroughly were coincidences that were connected so significantly that their chance occurrence would represent such a degree of improbability that it would have to be expressed through an astronomical figure. Jung explored how what appears random and by chance could have a deeper and more transcendental meaning, suggesting that there is a connection between our consciousness and the universe. He asserted that our inner psyche and the external environment are linked in ways that go beyond standard cause and effect. In this video, we will explore the nature of synchronicities and 5 different types of synchronicities we may encounter. We'll see how, by learning to identify them and decipher their hidden messages, we can synchronize with the universal flow and our higher self, attracting into our lives what we desire in total harmony. Let's begin. Synchronicities are very important because they are personal proof that reality is sometimes malleable, unstable, and sensitive to our consciousness. As Albert Einstein said, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Synchronicities demonstrate that this world behaves more like a collective dream, or a matrix-like simulation than an independent physical construction. Quantum physics has shown that physical events are ultimately determined by metaphysical factors. The observer, by the act of observing, determines matter. The reality of this material universe takes shape through consciousness, and synchronicities are a direct manifestation of this fact. Now let's discuss the different types of synchronicities we may encounter, so we can easily recognize them when they occur. Warning or alert synchronicity. These synchronicities occur just before a stressful or decisive event in our lives. They often appear when a situation involving a significant decision that could alter our destiny is approaching. This creates a point of disordered energy in our present timeline, making our corner of reality unstable. when the future is uncertain, and there are several options we are considering. Several alternative lines of time emerge as plausible possibilities. We know that what seems like a simple decision can lead to huge and sometimes irreversible changes in our lives. In some situations, synchronicities can appear in the form of warnings or alerts, preventing us from leaning towards a possible negative timeline. Imagine you are considering buying a house, and you find a tempting offer. The price is low, and you like the location. You are about to finalize the deal when your car won't start, so you decide to take a taxi. On the way, you witness an accident that further delays you. When you finally arrive at the bank, right in front of the house you want to buy, you see the police entering the neighboring house. All these setbacks make you reconsider your decision, and you decide not to buy the house. Later, you discover that the neighbors in the building are troublesome and cause serious cohabitation problems, which would have made your life very difficult if you had bought the house. If your car had started and you hadn't witnessed the police intervention, you might have made a hasty decision you would have regretted. This example illustrates how synchronicities can influence our decisions unexpectedly. Confirmation. Synchronicity. Confirmation synchronicities often accompany significant and crucial moments for our spiritual growth and personal transformation. Unlike warning or alert synchronicities, these confirm that we are on the right path, or help us choose from the options available to us, acting as a compass that guides us in the right direction toward the growth and development of our entire being. When the possibility of growth and expansion of our consciousness is presented to us, a positive timeline opens up for our essence. These positive timelines are very powerful because our essence is highly attracted to them. They are those decisions that lead us to an existence in harmony with our authentic self and our deep purpose in life. Sometimes, due to disconnection from our essence and our internal fears, dominated by the ego, we overlook these opportunities or are hindered by our insecurities. In such situations, synchronicities may arise to make us reconsider those opportunities or provide the necessary impetus to take the positive timeline. They can also appear as a confirmation signal, endorsing our correct decision. It's these types of synchronicities that, when they occur, have a profound impact on us. Those moments when we say, "Wow, this has been magical." They usually have a very intimate and personal meaning that only we perceive. For example, imagine that for a long time you've had in mind to undertake a project that you're passionate about, but also scares you. Finally, you take the first step, leave behind your fears, and invest money in something that will be the necessary foundation for such an undertaking. You're a bit nervous because of the uncertainty and the life change it will entail. You go out for some fresh air and sit thoughtfully in a park. Suddenly, two brightly colored butterflies that were fluttering around land on your hands, and at that very moment, you hear a voice saying, "You've done the right thing." You look around and realize that the conversation of two unknown people who were walking has filtered through clearly. You interpret it as a sign, a confirmation that you're on the right path. A profound sense of joy and connection with the universe overwhelms you. Prophetic synchronicity. Prophetic synchronicities, also known as signs, prophecies, or omens, are symbolic messages sent at significant moments. These messages can unexpectedly appear in your daily life, like the repetition of certain elements, such as repeating numbers that have personal significance to you. They can also appear in the form of dreams with a meaningful message for you at that time, or as a premonitory dream. They can serve to confirm recent decisions or warn you about possible dangers on your path, but they are not always evident. Interpreting these symbolic messages is similar to deciphering symbols in dreams. It requires observing when they occur and the circumstances surrounding them. By recording these experiences and looking for patterns, you can begin to understand their meaning and how they can influence your life. These synchronicities suggest a connection between our waking reality and the dream world, reflecting the idea that both dreams and reality are influenced by our consciousness. Manifestation. Synchronicity. Manifestation synchronicity is when you see or hear something that physically manifests as a result of a thought or desire you had previously. For example, wondering about someone you haven't seen in a long time and meeting them the next day, or needing something specific and finding it when you leave the house, just across the street. What does this mean? Was it a premonition? Did your mind register a future event, or was it your thought that generated it? Both possibilities are valid and occur, but when our thought directly influences reality, we talk about manifestation synchronicity. In this case, our thought triggers a future event through our subconscious, externally manifesting as a reflection of our thoughts. This is how the law of attraction works, but this has many implications. The fascinating thing about this synchronicity is that the necessary physical events for it to occur can extend into the past, modifying something even before we had the original thought. Think about the case of finding what you want in front of the house. Perhaps the decision of the person who left the object was made before you needed it. So it's as if your present decision had traveled and influenced the past to synchronously match that object with your present need. This may seem impossible, but it's in line with quantum physics, which has shown that our present choices can influence quantum processes from the past. This suggests that both the future and the past are not fixed, but are influenced by our consciousness in the present. Opportunity, synchronicities. Opportunity. Synchronicities are the perfect combination of preparation and opportunity, making them key tools for advancing our destiny and personal story. These synchronicities are opportunities that come at the right moment to get us out of difficult situations or open new paths in our lives. Although they may seem unlikely, they fit naturally and effortlessly, as if they were part of a perfectly designed plan. The distinctive feature of opportunity synchronicities is that they fill us with joy and relief when we experience them. They intuitively feel right without friction or resistance. Everything fits smoothly, as if there were a natural harmony between synchronicity and our life. After thoroughly exploring synchronicity and its different types, let's now see how we can actually incorporate them into our daily lives. Firstly, developing sensitive awareness is fundamental. This involves paying attention to the small and seemingly insignificant details of our daily lives. We must be attentive to those interesting moments that could go unnoticed, such as certain recurring themes in conversations or symbols that repeatedly appear around us. These could be synchronic events trying to communicate with us. Keeping a journal is another powerful tool in this process. Recording these coincidences and strange patterns can reveal connections we weren't aware of. The journal is not just about recording events, but reflecting on them and trying to decipher their personal meanings. Now, what happens if we go a long time without experiencing synchronicities? This could indicate that we are living in a constant and predictable routine where time flows without major complications. On the other hand, it could be that we are so connected to our higher self and our inner being that we no longer need external signals to be sent to us. The best way to unlock synchronicities is to step out of our comfort zone and open ourselves to new experiences. This involves adopting an attitude of awe and wonder towards reality, as well as exploring our own consciousness through introspection, active imagination, and reflection on dreams. We can also work on identifying and discerning between impulses and feelings that come from our social and biological programming and those that arise from our inner spiritual core. The more we act from our spiritual intelligence and true intuition, the more likely we are to encounter synchronicities on our path that will guide us along our positive and abundant timeline. In summary, synchronicity shows us that our thoughts, feelings, and experiences are deeply connected to the mysterious fabric of the universe. Being attentive to signals and coincidences helps us align with the flow of the universe, and synchronicity can be a valuable ally in making important decisions in our lives.